Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 8th of August. So, starting off looking at the news events first, what we got coming out and what we had coming out. Yesterday there was not a great deal of data coming out there, a few speakers. Today we've had the Reserve Bank of Australian Governor speaking there, following up from a couple of days back there. There was talk apparently of potential rate increases as they fight to control their inflation, then they're still on potentially on the table there. So whilst many of the leading economies are cutting rates, Australia is still needing to do something to control. But if you look at their rates compared to others at 4.35, they never increased to the sort of the 5.5s, 5.25 we had in the UK, and so on, 5% in the Canadian. Okay, the euro rate, but that's been cut as well. So Australia yet to cut their rates, and well, they never. Let's say there's probably the consequences of not cutting them or increasing them as much as the others. Anyway, whilst they fight with inflation, so does the Bank of Japan. And we're seeing comments coming out through from the Bank of Japan and talking whether they should increase more steadily. Here we go. One member identified a neutral rate as 1%, so they're talking. This is where they're looking for it to get towards, whilst another advocated gradual rises to avoid quick rate hikes. There you go. So it's always the panic, and we're still seeing this sort of discussion in the US whether we're going to see rates come off really quickly now, because they see growth and a possible recession. They talk about the joys. Anyway, so all of that's feeding the dollar's slightly weaker as we go through today. Yesterday it didn't do any harm. It's still hanging in there. You see it's just gradually the euro just picking back again here. I don't really. It's between it's a hard one in a sense, but it looks like it's got some scope to carry on pushing through to the upside. It's got the high low, but yesterday, what a horrible day. Barely any real significant move there. Maybe after that we'll see something a little bit more today, but there's not a lot in the way of anything. Couple of speakers and that's it. So that's the euro. The pound yesterday, well, it climbed the mountain and fell back down again. Here you go. Didn't even get halfway up, and then it was halfway down. Anyway, looking a little bit more likely this morning, but it's a real mess. And when you look at yesterday's trade, now I pointed out this wedge pattern that was forming at that time. It did break out later morning, pushed out there. So realistically, this sort of pattern, the wedge should go in the direction of the trend. This broke counter trend. Those people that would have been buying on the upside there would not have got target, because it then rolled back over and would have stopped them out. And anyone thinking of a short at the moment, if they'd shorted it, well, they too might be looking to be stopped out. So a complete mess. Very difficult one to work out what it's doing. At the moment it looks like it's making a bit of a recovery, but could soon switch back again. US dollar yen. Now with the overnight chatter with the yen, we got some potential. My trend line I've put it on the lower time frame, has just got caught late last night into this morning. It's got scope. It looks like it's got scope to carry on rolling to the downside here, but well, probably the safest places would be on the break of the low on the highs there, just as a continuation, giving us a lower high. But it's certainly slowed down this week compared to the way it was running off on Monday there, absolutely tanking. It's a lot of it's given a lot back. Australian dollar, so the more bullish news on in terms of dealing with inflation has seen it continue its little move this morning, and we're seeing a very ugly looking sort of head and shouldery sort of pattern, that sort of the struggle from away from the lows here at the moment. This, as much as it's pushing up there, the frequency, in other words the amount that it's retracing, and some of these retracements are going beyond the smaller retracements, so these retracements just and the depth of them back to the prior lows here, etc., just make me wonder how much gas this market's really got into it, got in it even. Looking soft. The CAD on the other hand is continuing its ride to the downside, although yesterday it did manage to soften up at one stage there, but now it's looking good. Just sitting on its 4-hourly 200 there. If it can continue to break from that, we could see more strength of the CAD. Remembering this is a US CAD, US dollar CAD. It does look like again we could see more continuation. Again, at some point though, you've just got to bear in mind that these are divergences as they come down on each occasion. There'll be a divergence into these markets. We've had one here, we'll have had one here, and we'll have a third one here. So maybe betting on selling it here isn't the best of places. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar still caught its bounce. It really goes on the coattails of the Australian dollar so much. The economies are quite linked. It's pushing up here at the moment, again marginally. It's arguably where it pushed out earlier in the week there, or was it yesterday? No, Tuesday. It was Tuesday, late Tuesday. It pushed through the prior highs here a little bit clearer than what the Aussie's dollar's done, so it made a slightly better recovery, and it sort of looks like against the dollar here could continue pushing up. I'm not massively bullish on it. There's probably other markets that I'd rather be bullish on, and the yen is one of them. Okay, dollar Swissy finally here. Those single crosses, lower highs kicking through. Is the bigger picture still looking on that? It has done a higher low pushing up through here, and it still hasn't caught its weekly pivot. It's getting a bit late to go and chase it at the moment. We haven't really seen it sell off enough here yet, but it's like the dollar yen is sort of walking a bit sideways at the moment. We'd need to see it for the continuation of this downside. We'd need to see a break of the 50. But for now it sits in that neutral area. Some cross pairs. We looked at the pound CAD, took a trade on this yesterday, sitting in there short, stops above the highs there. It's bouncing again this morning. At the moment the overall picture was looking good. It looked like it fell off a cliff. They say the bears jump out the window and the bulls take the stairs. Well, this one certainly jumped out originally, but it's whether it's got the momentum still in this. As I say, the pound's making a bit of a recovery against the dollar and maybe against other peers at the moment. Right, let's currencies quickly. Just look at the oops, pressed the wrong button there. Let's go and have a look at gold. So gold make a bit of a recovery today. It sold off again yesterday. It's getting into one of these horrible messy pictures here. Maybe more of a wedge than the pattern we had. The other pattern. This is a bit flatter, and in terms of the lows here, maybe we will see a break to the downside there eventually, but quite iffy at the stage. Still erring towards the softer side for me with these bigger lower highs that had come through, but okay, on the upside still quite major, but it's this double top, whether we'll see a break of these lows and a more significant sell-off. Oil, it's all over the shop is oil. Yesterday managed a decent up day there, but selling off again at the moment. We've run into the weekly pivot on oil. Question is, how hard can it hold it? It did put the higher low in there, but this could have just been a little ABC correction. So we'll see how it shapes up. It's still, if we took this bigger picture, we can pop that trend line over there where it's a significant lower high coming in. It broke the previous lows there, giving it a more greater significance. Anyway, it's still largely in this downward trend here. Whether or not, if it pushes up again above the weekly pivot, in this case, if it gets above the weekly pivot, then it becomes a potential bigger change, but it's still largely in that downward trend. Short term, it's quite a mess. Got the pivot below, which could be a draw for it. It's whether it goes beyond that or just find support on it. But need to look at that later today. Right, equity markets, S&Ps. So S&Ps yesterday selling back again. The market's certainly still got the heebie-jeebies, and it looks like at the moment that the sell side, when the setups come, when it starts moving, it sold off quite strongly yesterday. It was around about 3 o'clock. It really got the sell-off there, and there are concerns about the economy and what's going to happen. And of course, we've got elections going on, everything else, all the noise that you probably don't really need, but enough to make the markets questionable. Okay, so looking on the softer side, for me to be shorting this, it probably need to be breaking the overnight lows there, the Asian lows. But for now, I'll leave that alone. Tech, the Nasdaq, similar-ish picture. So we're going to see this similar picture on quite a few of these markets then, as they're running hand in hand, high correlation. DAX a bit different, not a lot different. It's picking up this morning actually, the DAX, but there's not a significant difference in this market action at the moment. So the equity markets worldwide seem to be a bit more creaking under the strain here at the moment. Nothing particularly clear. Maybe we'll be working in a bit of a range here, but it's already into its R1 and seems to be reacting to that this morning. And finally the FTSE, as we hit 8 o'clock. Yeah, new bar in already. See what's happening, but bigger picture here. Well, it's trying. It's back to the underside of this range it sort of sat in last month, which by the way is the quarterly pivot. The support level for that last month is proving a bit of resistance for now. We'll see how it shapes, but again, I'm not overly optimistic on it at the moment, but the patterns are particularly not clear. Right, I shall leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading. I'll catch you later. Take care. Have a good day.